This is Freedom.
Another foreign scene in Libya postpones elections 1 month.
This is Freedom Global News.
Possessing a permanent voter's card is a duty to all citizens. Please ensure you acquire yours. Good evening, you listen to Freedom Global News on 99.5 FM. I am Hauwa Adamu Kiyawa. Today is the 23rd of December 2021, which is equivalent to the 18th of Jumada Ula 1443 after Hijri. And now the news in full. President Muhammadu Buhari today visited Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, where he will be commissioning various projects. There were doubts that Buhari would go ahead with the trip as 3 explosions rocked the city just a few hours before the president's arrival. The commander-in-chief, who will now carry on with his schedule as planned, will begin with the commissioning of an edifice donated by Muhammad Indimi to the University of Maiduguri. Afterwards, he will proceed to commission some projects executed by the Borno state government, including a 10 flyover and a mega the Nigerian troops fighting Boko Haram terrorists in the northeast region might have made the president the the workers in the state to continue to rally around the present administration for approving the promotion promptly as that went due without any interference. The Controller General of the Federal Fire Service, Dr. Liman Ibrahim, has assured Nigerians that the agency is better prepared and positioned to respond aptly and effectively to fire incidents and other emergencies. Dr. Ibrahim said this while delivering his end-of-year message to Nigerians at the Federal Fire Service headquarters in Abuja today. He stated that efforts by the Muhammadu Buhari-led administration to safeguard the lives and property of Nigerians had led to the procurement of firefighting assets, training of staff, and motivation of staff of the service. He explained that before 2015, the Federal Fire Service had only 3 rickety firefighting trucks, but now has 141 modern fire trucks, while its staff strength has increased from 600. Arena says the Federation held discussions with Roma manager Jose Mourinho in its search for a coach for the Super Eagles. Amadimovan Pinnick, who stated this during a media parley with sports journalists in Lagos yesterday, said Super Eagles would get a new coach within the next week or so, meaning interim coach of the team, Austin Egovian, might not take the squad to the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations, which begins January 9th, 2022 in Cameroon. Correspondent Sunusi Shaib Musa has details of this and other sports updates.
The NFF boss confirmed that they had held talks with Serbian Mladen Kristajic and Jose Mourinho in their bid to get a top-class coach for the national team, adding that Portuguese Jose Peseiro, a former Real Madrid assistant coach and FC Porto head coach, was on the three-man short list for the Eagles. Premier League has postponed Liverpool's games against Leeds United and the match between Wolves and Watford because of coronavirus. Both games were scheduled to kick off on Sunday, December 26, but have been called off after requests from Wolves and Watford. The Premier League said Leeds could not play due to the number of players with COVID-19 injuries and illness. Watford had games against Burnley, Crystal Palace and Wolves postponed because they have insufficient numbers of players to field a team against Palace last Saturday. And on tennis, Andy Murray has been given a wild card for the main draw of Australian Open in January. The 34-year-old Briton missed the 2022 tournament after he was not allowed to travel to Melbourne following a positive test for coronavirus. The five-time Australian runner-up last late at the event in 2019 when he thought it might be his last match as a professional because of injury. Moving on to cricket, England captain Ewan Morgan will lead a match 16-man squad during January's 5-match 2020 tour of the West Indies. No players involved in the ongoing Ashes will be involved in the tour, which starts on 22 January. Freedom.
Comics kawai ka yaga sha ka samu sauki.
Haka ne fa, ku yi amfani da comics ma duk kai tari. Comics yana da dextromethorphan da guaifenesin. Kawai ku yaga ku sha ku samu sauki yana kulele in ka sha. Aha! Na samu sauki yanzu. Ina son comics. Comics, kamfani Orange Drugs Limited da ke yin kasuwanci da dilancin ta. Maganin zai iya saka kasala. In alamar tarin bata tsaya ba bayan kwana 3, ka ga likitanka. Comics yana kulele.
Welcome back. You're still listening to Freedom Global News on 99.5 FM. An extraordinary Federal Executive Council meeting has approved all 16 memos on various power contracts that spread across the country. The total sum of the projects in both dollar and naira, euro and naira only component stands at $65,606,420, €15,152,651, and $31,362,272,397 naira. The Minister of Power, Engineer Abubakar Aliyu, announced this approval today at the end of the Federal Cabinet meeting presided over by Vice President Yemi Alpha to ensure that Nigerians enjoy improved supply of electricity, attributed the epileptic power supply in the country to little attention paid to the development of the sector, to remedy the situation with more investments in the sector, which he said had manifested in the last system collapse being witnessed in the country. For tomorrow's weather forecast in some cities in Nigeria and parts of Niger Republic, here is the report.
Kano tomorrow morning will experience light cloud and light wind at an average temperature of 14 degrees Celsius, a later increase to sunny and light wind at 28 degrees Celsius at noon. Kaduna will have similar weather condition at 17 degrees Celsius, a later increase to 29 degrees Celsius. Katsina is expected to have clear sky and light wind at 15 degrees Celsius, a later increase to 27 degrees Celsius. Abuja will experience sunny and light wind at 20 degrees Celsius, then later increase to 33 degrees Celsius with sunny intervals. Lagos will have light wind at 24 degrees Celsius, and later change to sunny intervals and light wind at 33 degrees Celsius. Moving to Niger Republic, Marada and Zindar are expected to have sunny and light wind at 16 degrees Celsius, and later increase to 27 degrees Celsius at noon. Zahra Sana July, Freedom Radio.
And on business, Anas Muhammad Mandi has updates.
The federal government plans to introduce digital token comprising 16 alphabets and numbers to replace the current 11-digit national identity number, effective January 2022. The National Identity Management Commission stated this in a booklet entitled Offense. If any company or agency is found verifying the 11-digit national identity number. Meanwhile, the Center for Promotion of Private Enterprise, CPPE, said that the federal government's 17.1 trillion naira budget for next year will be difficult to fund. The Chief Executive Officer of the center, Dr. Muda Yusuf, said this yesterday at a press briefing in Lagos entitled The Economy and Business Environment in 2021 and an Agenda for 2022. Yusuf noted that the 2022 budget is not reflective of the country's present economic reality and will further plunge Nigeria into more borrowing that will increase an already alarming debt profile. Anas Mohammed Mande, Freedom Radio.
And on the foreign scene, Libya's election commission has called for the country's first presidential poll due to take place on Friday to be postponed for a month. The commission said it proposed the new date of 24th January after liaison with Parliament. A parliamentary committee had earlier said that it would be impossible to hold elections on Friday. The run-up to the poll has been marred by disputes over the eligibility of candidates and growing security fears. Libya has been in turmoil since long-serving ruler Muammar Gaddafi was overthrown and killed in 2011. The United Nations and Western powers had hoped that the election would bolster efforts to achieve peace and democracy. A strategically important country that is the major producer and a transit point for migrants to Europe. The United States ambassador to Libya is the Libyan leaders of presidential candidates. And with this, we've come to the end of today's global news. But before we go, highlights of the major stories. President Muhammadu Buhari on Thursday visited Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, where he will be commissioning various projects. The Kano State Civil Service Commission has approved the promotion of 126 staff in the mainstream of the civil service. An extraordinary Federal Executive Council meeting has approved all 16 memos on various power contracts that spread across the country. And on the foreign scene, Libya's election commission has called for the country's first presidential poll due to take place on Friday to be postponed for a month. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Hauwa Adamu Kiyawa. Enjoy the rest of your evening.